And so we come to our Bible reading this morning. It's taken from the Gospel of John, and I'm going to have it up on the screen as we read together. And it's in chapter 15. As the Father has loved me, said Jesus, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant doesn't know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. You did not choose me, but I chose you, and I appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you whatever you ask him in my name. I am giving you these commands so that you may love one another. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Love one another. Love one another. Love one another. Jesus seems quite insistent that his followers, his friends, love one another. And it's interesting, isn't it, that Jesus knew, I think, what was going to happen to him, but also what would happen to his disciples as Jesus was taken from them and was crucified. Jesus could, in this moment, this is kind of a farewell speech, he could have said so many things. He could have said to them, right, here are 20 ways, here's a strategy for planting churches so that my message carries on. Jesus could have said to them, here are, the rules that you have to tell everyone. He could have said to them, these are the places you need to go. But Jesus stood among his friends who he knew, I think, would fall out with one another, would find it hard when some betrayed and denied Jesus, when some doubted, who would find it difficult when they were fearful. And he simply said, love one another as I have loved you. So how did Jesus love them? Or Jesus lay down his life for his friends? We think about that and we think about Jesus going to the cross. But actually, in all of Jesus' life, there is a sense in which Jesus was laying down his life. Jesus, who Christians believe, he left the glories of heaven. He left the intimacy of the Trinity to be among us. He limited himself for the sake of the other. Not because he didn't think he was worthy. He knew he was worthy of love. He knew who he was, but he then chose to lay down his life. And that is the life that Jesus invites us as his followers into. Jesus invites us to know that we are worthy of God's love, of the love of others, and that we are worthy of belonging. And from that sense of worthiness, Jesus invites us to do what he did, to lay down our lives for others, to choose to limit ourselves. Not because we don't think we're worthy, but because actually we want to bear fruit in the world, because we want what is good for other people, because we know that we're connected beyond just ourselves and our families around us. We are connected to the whole of humanity, and therefore we make choices that benefit others, not just us. It's the kind of love that Jesus invites us to. How do we do it? Because this is a hard call. Well, actually, it goes back to what Jesus says at the beginning of the passage. Abide in my love. Remain in my love. Don't just check in with my love once a week in church. Don't just sort of know it out there. Abide in my love. Live in my love. Soak in my love. Dwell in my love. That might all feel a bit too intense and a bit much. Well, then maybe start with this. They reckon it takes 11 seconds to do some rewiring in our brains that helps us to get hold of a new idea. So let's try it. For 11 seconds, we are going to just sit in God's love, abiding in it. I have my watch. So let's just take in that every one of us now is deeply loved by God. You might want to try that again through the week. I am loved by God, and just let it soak in, because as we know that we are loved, so we are able to love others. And loving one another was Jesus' intention for how the church would grow. Now, those are challenging words for us, and they are challenging words for any church as we emerge from COVID. How will we love one another in that way? Some practical things to work out. But there's time. So for now, I leave us with that. Take some time this week to really soak in God's love and see if that makes it easier to love others. Amen.